Hello future people, and welcome to Great Uncle John's weekly video log. This is week 42, Sunday, October 21st, 2018. On this chilly gray October day with a skiff of snow in the air, 10 days away from Halloween, 1 day away from Ottawa's municipal election, and a couple of weeks away from the American midterms. They say local government affects us more than any other level, but it certainly doesn't garner the same interest or attention. So I watched the Rogers debate with the 12 candidates for mayor. Not all seemed to be mayoral quality, but many were impressive individuals, and it is good to see people with civic interests and ambitions stepping forward. I often vote for fringe candidates, so their Rogers pitches may just get my vote. Clive Doucette, I guess, is the main contender against Jim Watson. He's for the little guy. He likes communities and community housing and working with communities and everybody working together and transit and lowering transit fares and a lot of good ideas. I like Clive Doucette. And one guy wants to unify Gatineau and Ottawa into one capital with a forward sort of technological vision, and another guy is focused on disabilities primarily, and many seem to be angry with developers and seem to think they have city council in their pockets, which may be true actually. Some were barely articulate or so nervous that you wonder how they would stand up to the stress of being mayor. Mayor is a spokesperson and face of a city, so I think they need to be prepared and well-spoken. There are no women running, which is a disappointing thing, considering Ottawa had a pioneering woman mayor with Charlotte Whitten way back in the 1950s, I think. You would hope there would be more balance or at least representation on the ticket. Jim Watson has some impressive accomplishments and has been a steady hand. He's slow to embrace the times, such as safe injection sites, and I would like to see Ottawa more of a leader in technological innovation and sustainable waste management and that sort of thing. But one thing I've always liked about Jim Watson is he promises to keep the tax increase to 3%. I think budgeting for an inevitable rise in costs is wiser than a bullshit promise of 0% taxes, or sticking to that promise and then cutting in other areas where we can't afford to do that either. So in the end, I think I'll vote for Ryan Lethell because, it's an inspiration to see someone with his physical limitations not let it get in the way of his ambition. And I've seen Ryan around a lot. He's a visible presence at music festivals and community events, and he's a man of the people looking out for the rights of the most disadvantaged of us. So he'll get my vote. In my riding or ward, I guess Diane Deans has been councillor for 24 years. Thank you for your service, but I think it's time for some fresh ideas and approaches. There are actually a number of impressive candidates in my riding. I think I'm closest to this guy in my opinions, especially in regards to crime. It requires community engagement and dialogue more than tough on crime rhetoric. I think Sweda is the only one who has a chance to take out Deans, and there are enough good candidates to see the other vote diluted. There's a tremendous power to incumbency, a lot of inertia. Once you're in, especially in Ottawa South, it seems, at the federal and provincial level. Okay, on to Trump. Let's see if I can remember what is happening without Googling. There's his whole sucking up to the Saudis thing after the whole Khashoggi horror show where they tortured that poor Washington Post journalist to death and came up with a bullshit story. And now Trump and Kushner are so far sticking by this Prince MBS, Mohammed bin something or other. So we'll see how long that holds up for. But, I think the Turks are going to release the audio and the video, and I think that will seal it. I think they can only deny it for as long as it remains hidden. So you know how it plays out, future people. Let's see. Paul Manafort is singing like a canary. I think he has a lot of dirt on Roger Stone, who seems to be a key to a lot of this. You know exactly what he's done, future people, but we're still wondering. But Paul Manafort knows, and Paul Manafort's talking to Robert Mueller all the time now, apparently. Trump's going to pull out of the nuclear deal with Russia. And I suppose that at any other time, that sort of announcement would have the world holding its breath. But it's all just part of Trump's theater these days, and it just sort of slid by. Michael Cohen is urging people to vote in November for Democrats to avoid 2 or even 6 more years of this madness. And hard to believe the whole Michael Cohen transformation. There are a lot of interesting personal stories from the Trump era that sort of spin off like tornadoes from a hurricane, and Michael Cohen is one of those. I'll be interesting to see how his life plays out going forward. Who plays him in the movies, future people? I can't really think of someone at the moment. Maybe Adam Sandler. Anyway, the midterms are a couple of weeks away. The Democrats are ahead by a good bit for the congressional race, but the polls were infamously wrong before, so I think they've been doing a good job in tamping down on their enthusiasm and not jinxing it. There's an army of 6,000 migrants marching towards the U.S. border from Honduras through Mexico, set to arrive probably around the time of the election, if not before. And Trump is vowing to send the army down to seal the border, and that's certainly a tasty recipe for his base, so that might turn out some of his voters. American elections recently have all the drama and importance of a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final, worth watching with friends or out at a bar or something. It's like a sport. But yeah, that's all I can remember about Trump. I'll leave you with my new song, Cousin Billy's Moonshine. It's hot off the presses, and I hope to have a video sometime soon. I kind of like this one, and I hope you do too. Take care, future people.
Cousin Billy makes moonshine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Buys his parts at Canadian Tire. Makes it in a shed out back. Cousin Billy makes moonshine. Oh, just because. Take a drive out to Renfrew. You don't have to feel alone. Knock on Cousin Billy's door. He'll make you feel at home. Cousin Billy makes moonshine. Oh, just because. Cousin Billy makes moonshine. Oh, yes he does. I got some of his moonshine. I keep it in a jar. Jump on the red oak train and bring your old guitar. You know that Billy makes moonshine. You ought to have a taste. First sip you're standing on